Hi everybody, this is Noelle from Petitti's. We are at a coworker's house and we are working on porch pots. We also call these winter combos because when your plant material is starting to die back, we've had several hard cold frosts, and so annuals are starting to die back and brown out and yellow, and you're wanting to remove those, but you don't know what to fill your pots with. Here you go, here's your solution. So right around mid-November into later November, we do have a lot of fresh cut greens and twigs and things, and I'll kind of go through all of the different varieties that we use today. But this is a great way to just fill up your pots, have some winter color. And what's great about filling up your porch pots with cut greens and twigs is that it will last all the way until late winter, early spring, when you're ready to change out into something else, whether it's, your spring blooming bulbs or violas, pansies, anything like that. So this gives you a lot of longevity in your pots. They don't have to be empty over the winter. So to start out with, what we normally do with any container garden, and you've probably seen me talk about this before or seen articles about it, is we usually will start with a thriller plant, and you usually want to pick one thriller. And in this case, what I used for the thriller here are the fir. This is actually a noble fir, what's sticking up in the back here. The noble firs give you a nice kind of very rich silvery blue color, and they stand straight up, nice and pretty, so they can always make a nice background or a nice focal point. Then the next thing that you do is you select some filler plants. So with cut greens, there's some fillers that will be a little bit more bushy that work really well in that respect. So again, things like juniper berry are very bushy, the blueberry here. I also have some pine that will stand up really, really nicely. And I also have some cypress. I had longer branches of cypress or cedar that kind of stood up in the back for me. But most of the time, they're more trailing, a little bit softer branching. So I end up using them as spiller. Now, in a window box, you can configure this any way that you want to, but I put the tallest thriller in the back center, kind of filled in with other fillers. Again, just the greenery I started with first. And then the spiller plants, again, more of that cypress just coming out the side. I did have a couple of pine tips that I put on the sides as well. So I had them kind of off in the corners and in the middle. And with a spiller, we usually will do the lower right corner here. Or with a window box, you can kind of do two different sides of the spillers, or you can do 1, 2, and 3. So I have some behind the bow there. And then you go ahead and add your color. So add your ornamentation. And in this case, we wanted to stay really natural. So what we did is I actually added some panicle hydrangeas. They were dried right on the shrubs here, so I just clipped them off. Panicle hydrangeas, you can clip any length of cut stem you want to at this time of year. They're completely dormant. That won't bother that plant at all. They bloom on all new wood, so go ahead and clip and use if you'd like. So I went ahead and arranged just a couple different clusters of panicle hydrangeas there. And then the next thing I did is I used some of the winterberry. Winterberry is a native plant, grows very, very well in Northeast Ohio. And of course, it's absolutely gorgeous, produces those beautiful bright red berries. There are some yellow berry types. There are some orange berry types as well. And so I clipped those and kind of just made a few little color spots with the red berries, added them into the arrangement. The last thing that I did was just take our weatherproof velveteen bow here. It's wired onto a stake, and that went right into the center of the pot. And you have your winter porch pot arrangement. Same thing, if you'd visualize this in a round planter, it basically worked the same way, just your thrillers, your fillers, and your spillers, and your bow, and you're ready to go. I wanted to show you again As you get past the Thanksgiving holiday, maybe you want to add a little bit more bling. You want to add some, glittered pine cones or, bright red glossy berries. Just remember that your glitter, of course, in the weather may kind of wash off. So do keep that in mind. And then also there are so many other beautiful different types of branching that you can add. We're seeing a lot of the white birch poles or paper. Actually, this is a paper bark birch, but the white birch coming and being used as a thriller in the winter porch pots or winter combos as well. And then also, if you just want a bundle of greens, you're not really sure what type to put in your pots, no problem. There are bundles available with the fir, with the pine, with the cypress, with the berries, the juniper berries that are all ready to go bundled together for you. So you'd be ready to decorate your own porch pot, and then you add your bow and any other kind of color that you want to add in there. Other than that, I do have some red twig dogwoods, so those are always really nice. That's a real common landscape shrub that we grow in Northeast Ohio that works really well for us. You could add red twig dogwood stems and a number of different other natural twigs for accents. But enjoy the winter porch pot, and this is just the beginning in Thanksgiving. Right at the end of November, and then you'll see it. It'll last all the way through the winter months for you to enjoy. Care for winter porch pots, we wanted to mention briefly, doesn't take a lot of maintenance at all. But just remember, when you're planting in your containers, you can keep the soil in the containers. You can cut back the plant material that's in those containers and keep the soil moist, because when you put your cut branches and twigs in the porch pots, that moist soil, of course, will provide them with additional moisture and, of course, keep them lasting and looking great longer. The other thing that we do is we'll actually apply Wilt Stop to cut greens, cut Christmas trees, lots of different things in the garden, but we apply Wilt Stop because what it does is it seals in the moisture into the needles, into the stems of your plants, and it will really help really give this arrangement longevity out there in the winter. Your cut branches won't dry out. The needles will definitely retain a lot longer on the branches, so that really helps too. And basically that's it. Just make sure you keep the soil moist, spray them just really one time with Wilt Stop, and you're all set for your winter porch pot. Enjoy.